would be required to implement a longer-term volume strategy on the mobile apps. The work phase also allows you to broadcast your success to the larger organizations based on your applications that you have piloted in the crawl phase, and it helps you generate more demand for the mobile applications. Typically, we have seen that usage of applications have proliferated pretty quickly after a successful implementation of applications like HR applications such as timesheets or purchase approval applications, and the same business users come back asking for more, and you can expect to get pretty busy. Hence, planning for your volume strategy, team size, scale up, etc. would help you during the work phase. And the run phase typically are already operating with multiple applications running and in the pipeline for execution, and you're also worrying about and planning for post-implementation support for your application. The mobility, while it enables your business users, it also sets the expectation bar very high for the IT team, because any amount of performance degradation or non-availability of mobility application does raise a lot of eyebrows and puts the organization under pressure. So hence you have to plan for a very strong support strategy, ensuring that the mobile applications are performing and available 24/7. Coming to why we are one of the best companies that you could engage on the mobility. Number one reason is that we are a very strong SAP company. So if you look at SAP suite of products, we have experience with all business suites and the ECC platform. We have been working on these platforms for more than a decade. So talk about sales, CRM, products, finance, ECC, SRM, GRC, PPM, PLM. GyanSys brings strengths from the back-end understanding of the process and the functional expertise required to understand business users and their expectations. And we have been working for over 5 years now on the mobility and thought leadership on mobility platforms, evolution in the industry. We have implemented several types of mobility applications. Today, more than 100 applications have been implemented for various customers on different technologies. So you have a winning team in GyanSys when you onboard GyanSys for your mobility needs and SAP needs. Divya?
Thank you, Neeraj and Supriya. We're now going to begin answering the questions submitted during the presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit questions through the questions page. Our first question is from Vineet, and his question is, our SAP version setup is not Fiori. How can I use SAP UI5 with WGW and make desktop apps Fiori-like tools?
Can you please repeat that, Divya? I didn't get the last part. They have SAP BW?
The question is, how can I use SAP UI5 with Net Gateway and make desktop apps Fiori-like?
So build a custom Fiori-like application. Is that what the question is?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, of course we can do that. I mean, that's what we have done at Reliance, wherein we have either taken out-of-box application as a base and then enhanced it completely so that it doesn't look like anything from out-of-box. I mean, there have been 60% extensions or enhancements done to the out-of-box app. Or
let me answer that question also, Divya. So yes, you can create a completely custom application out of the box using SAP UI5 as well. So for example, one of the customers, Avaya, that we had talked about before, we had no application which was catering to the needs of that particular use case. So what they wanted to do is for SAP PPM, they wanted to enable a front-end process which can allow them to input all the estimations for the projects for IT organization and be able to rationalize that from the time the initiatives have started to LOE to approval of the initiatives. So they wanted to consolidate their planning process. So we created a completely SAP UI5 custom application designed for this purpose with a metrics dashboard of how many projects are in the pipeline, how many have been created with the estimations, and it gives a very clear view of what remains to be done, what is the capacity available for the organization, and what capacity is required. It is also integrated with the PPM backend system, so only those projects which are coming through the PPM system are visible on these applications, and actions can be taken on those projects. So yes, it is possible. We have to use either backend SAP database or create a Z table for a specific application and integrate backend plus create the front end. Does that answer your question? Hello?
So do we have any other questions, and did that answer your question, Vineet?
If you have time, Supriya, can you demo an application to the users on this call, to the people on this call?
Yes, Supriya, we have one more question.
Sure.
So for the purchase order scenario, how will the data integrate with the ECC backend system, like material master, etc.? And this question comes from Maheshwar.
Supriya, you want to take that question?
Yeah, again, Divya, I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
Sure. So for the purchase order scenario, how will the data integrate with the ECC backend system, like the material master, etc.?
Yeah, so under the MM module itself, there are quite a few applications that are available. There are goods movements applications. There are complete scenario-based applications end-to-end. When we access these applications have inbuilt UI as well as backend components, which can communicate back to your ECC material management module and post those corresponding transactions. So just like inventory management, the way that you would use MV1C or MV18 post a goods movement, or maybe do a PGI on a delivery, and that would post goods movements in your backend. Similarly, these transactions are brought onto Fiori via Fiori applications that do the same functions that your GUI posts do, and they'll do the same transaction posting in the backend under your MM module.
Mahesh, I hope that answers your question, but feel free to send an email to us.
Yeah,
we will respond to that as lengthy and call you back to answer your question specifically. I'm also thinking, maybe you're thinking if there are newer fields that you want to incorporate into your app, how is that going to be feasible with Fiori? So there are options available, but we would like to address that question on a offline one-on-one basis, if that works for you.
So another follow-up question from Maheshwar on this. Is there any validation checkpoint in Fiori?
The way that these applications work is they are very tightly integrated with your backend. So any custom validations, any standard validations that would happen when a goods movement transaction posts in SAP Fiori applications are going to go through the same validations that are in your backend. And of